Right, YouTube, Shadow King Nazru, and I'm here to do my review of She-Hulk episode 4. Yeah, I'm gonna be kind of blitzing through this review because I've got to also do the reaction to the new Black Adam trailer. Plus, we got new gameplay footage for God of War 5, which I've been kind of too busy to do reactions for. Uh, Plus a few other things. So if I miss a few details or if it feels like I'm rushing, then that's why. But if you want to like talk about any other subjects, we can do it in the comment section down below. All right, let's get into it, shall we? So this episode starts off with this two-bit magician trying to do parlor tricks, and he sucks at it, and the audience is pretty much booing him. He's pretty much dead on the stage. But then he starts to use a sling ring, the same thing that Doctor Strange and other sorcerers use to create the portals, and he used that portal to send some uh, extremely drunk woman through a portal. And then we cut to Wong watching The Sopranos, and the lady goes out the other portal and ends up near Wong. And she pretty much says that she basically made a pact with a demon for a few drops of her blood in exchange for her freedom out of hell. And also, she spoils a scene from The Sopranos for Wong. Now, a lot of people are starting to assume that that demon that this girl is referring to might be Mephisto. I can't really say, but if it is a reference to Mephisto, man, did we choose a bad time to build up to him. Uh, so anyway, Wong. Uh, no, wait, before that. So we cut to Jen, who's at her house, and her father is trying to perform some extra security because he heard that she nearly got mugged. But Jen says it's fine. Those thugs are long gone. And he said, and he asked, did she call the police? And she said no. And he's just completely disappointed in her that she didn't call the police. Yes, Jen Walters, the She-Hulk, a superhero, dealt with the Wrecking Crew, albeit in an embarrassing way that didn't respect their characters from the comics, but pretty much dealt with them, had them had them at her mercy, and she just let them go. Didn't even bother calling the cops to have them arrested. Remember when I said this show is pretty much a spiritual successor to Batwoman? It's pretty much because of things like this. Superheroes stopping these criminals, but not taking them to the authorities, leaving them uh, bound for the authorities. They just let them go so they could potentially start more crimes. Idiots. Uh, and we have, and we also have Wong trying to uh, come, Wong coming to She-Hulk, saying that he needs to press charges against the two-bit magician because he's practicing dangerous magic that uh, could threaten the multiverse and all that. But She-Hulk says that there's pretty much nothing she can do because he's not doing anything illegal, and that there's no like copyright or trademarks of magic. She-Hulk, he's still putting innocent civilians in danger by sending them to the hell. So, yeah, that's still illegal. Now, granted, that would be something for the cops to handle and not a lawyer. But if we brought the cops in, we would also have to bring up the question of Why hasn't Wong been arrested by the cops for letting the abomination out of his prison cell just so we could have a cage match with him? So they tried to have the trial, um, but it goes horribly wrong because Jen wasn't able to get enough evidence for this case. There's also the whole you can't really copyright magic, and also the only witness that they had was the drunk girl, who was not exactly a reliable source. So yeah, Jen kind of sucks at being a lawyer. Maybe this is the reason why you have other lawyers, especially men, trying to explain how to do your job because it seems that you suck at it. And meanwhile, She-Hulk is also trying to get a date for for a romantic life. And first she tries just as Jen Walters, but she just ends up with but nobody's interested except this one guy who's kind of a scumbag and doesn't even pay the bill. And She-Hulk's kind of upset about that. Jen, is it really that big a deal? You're a lawyer and you work at a really impressive office. I don't think you're strapped for cash. You could have paid for the meal. So her, I'm assuming Latina best, best friend and coworker, suggests that she tries creating a dating profile as the She-Hulk. And she says she doesn't want to. She doesn't like being She-Hulk, which is totally contrary to to how she is in the comics, which she actually likes because she actually likes being She-Hulk, which I've explained in previous reviews. But let's not get into that, shall we? So, but she ultimately relents and decides to do it. And first one is just some muscle-bound oaf who's more focused on his muscles. Then there's also the snobby film director, and also one guy that calls She-Hulk an interesting specimen, and she takes offense to that, even though technically he's not exactly wrong. Because She-Hulk is, at the end of the day, a gamma mutant, which is rare and would technically considered an interesting specimen. So he's not. I mean, if he's being offensive, that's relative, but he's still technically not wrong. But she ultimately lands on this guy who's a doctor, uh, very sensitive, uh, and Ash says that he doesn't want to talk about himself, but would rather listen to her. Yeah, great idea, guy. Feed She-Hulk's narcissism. Just have her talk all about herself. That'll be great for making her a likable character. Just continue to feed her narcissism. And what a great message for guys and females who are potentially looking to learn how to date. Hey, don't talk about yourself. Don't try to be humble and likable. Just treat if you're dating a narcissist, just feed that narcissistic attitude and just let them talk about themselves and their problems and make them feel good about themselves. It's not like humility would be a good thing for them to learn. Uh, but yeah, She-Hulk takes an interest in this, and she gets ready to have sex with him. That's going to be kind of tricky because she's 6'7", weighs over 600 pounds. So he's going to end up with a few broken bones in here. But before they could get it on, Wong tells he needs She-Hulk's help because the two-bit magician accidentally released a bunch of demon bats or whatever into the world, and he needs her help to send them back to hell. And she does this, and I'm not gonna lie, this was the best action scene this show has had. It wasn't stellar or anything. It wasn't something you'd see like in, I don't know, Last Kingdom or Daredevil, which I've heard has pretty good action, or anything like in the like the Batfleck scene from Batman v Superman, or anything along those lines. But at least was competent enough that I wasn't face palming at just how inept the action was. I mean, I gotta give, and it also kind of felt like some of the lines kind of felt like this came from someone who at least read a few She-Hulk comics. I think this one was written by Dana Schwartz, who I was not looking forward to seeing that episode because she made a lot of misandrous comments on Twitter. But based on this episode, it could have been a lot worse. So thank Jesus Christ for small favors. So yeah, they end up banishing those demon bats, and Wong teleports She-Hulk back to the doctor, who just happened to be reading a feminist book. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's not a message for or anything by these writers. Sarcasm. And they proceed to have sex. Yeah, now I'm sure one of you will probably say, Justin, do you have a problem with this because you're a Christian and having premarital sex is an issue against the Christian faith? And I say normally yes, but the She-Hulk normally does sleep around in the comics, so this is pretty much par for the course for the character. And then the Doctor wakes up, sees that sees Jen in her normal form, making breakfast and orange juice, and he's surprised that She-Hulk's not around. She has to explain the situation, and he up and bounces, and was apparently supposed to feel bad for She-Hulk. Now, it can be easily assumed why we would think that, but if you look at the situation, you realize that She-Hulk's not the victim here. Okay, first off, She-Hulk, you presented yourself as She-Hulk. You create a profile of She-Hulk. You've never explained to her that you don't always look like this. That you change back into your regular self. So for all he knew this is what he was getting. All of that he was getting, just a She-Hulk. So when he comes up and meets a different person, it feels like you kind of lied to him, and in a certain way, you kind of did. It's more of a lie of omission. So we can't exactly fully blame him for leaving you. Not to mention, Tinder is also, or whatever this dating match website was called, is pretty much just for one night stands. It's not good. It's not good for building long term relationships. Not to mention, it's rather hypocritical that the Asgardian elf disguised herself as another person, Megan the Stallion. Yeah, we won't talk about how that her name doesn't make any sense. She disguised herself as Megan the Stallion. The guy pressed charges against the elf, and she ended up with 60 days in prison, I think. So the story clearly, and the writers clearly knew that what she did was wrong. Yet She-Hulk is doing something similar, and we're supposed to feel bad for her. The hypocrisy of the show knows no bounds. And that's pretty much where the episode ends off, and we also get a post credit of Wong and the drunk girl continuing to watch movies and shows and becoming buddies, despite previously being annoyed by her. I mean, all in all, this could have been She-Hulk's, I don't want to say best, but least bad episode. But it kind of shot themselves in the foot with the hypocrisy, uh, the damage to Wong's character. I mean, the guy, Bennett Wong, I think that's what his name, he was yeah, he did the best he could with the material, but there's only so much you can get from this. And the jokes still aren't landing. And honestly, they really should have come with the whole death by snoo uh, situation with the sex scene. What? I mean, not literally kill the doctor, but just imagine this. Imagine that the guy thinks he's going to have sex with She-Hulk, and I mean, surprisingly enough, that's understandable. She-Hulk is is a beautiful woman. Well, not in the show, but just pretty much in most medium, is a beautiful woman who a lot of men would want to have sex with. So this would also be She-Hulk's first time, as far as we know, or at the very least, it would be her first time having sex as a Hulk. And she obviously gets too excited, and things go wrong, and the guy's at best his pelvis would be crushed, and there would be a few broken bones, and he would likely be urinating blood more than actual urine. Which would, and for all the damages, the guy would start pressing charges against the She-Hulk, which would create an awkward situation where she has to answer for the harm she's done, and this would become public knowledge, and it would be completely embarrassing, and that would actually create some humor. But instead, we get things like this, and it's not funny, and this is supposed to be a comedy, but it's just as inept as doing lawyer scenes, which the writers, especially Jessica Gao, the showrunner, has admitted they're not good at. Yeah, those are all my. That's pretty much everything I had to say about the show. It's not getting any better, and I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. But that's enough about that. Next, I'm going to be talking about the Black Adam trailer and then the God of War 5 gameplay. I'll catch you mortals later.